Drop a comment with your city or country. I am dying to know where you're reading from the phone. Jolted me from my beach vacation, Mr. Daniels. Your house is burning. Looks like an accident. Sand stuck to my feet as my heart pounded. 15 years in the justice system taught me there's no such thing as an accident when you've dodged a $600 monthly protection fee from a rogue homeowners association with no legal clout, but tons of matches and ego. I had two options: let them burn my family's legacy or use every talent I'd developed to make this HOA the headline of its own demise. What happened didn't just preserve my home rewrite loss. I never intended to live in Crestwood Pines, but when my wife Emily was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer last spring, being 30 minutes from New England's best oncology center became non-negotiable. I'm Lucas Daniels, 47, and after a career guaranteeing justice, I believed a quieter existence was owed. The realtor hesitated as I signed the documents. Presswood's magnificent, she said, smiled tight. Just read the community rules carefully. I was far too concerned about Emily's chemo to care to steer clear of attention. I told people I was a remote software engineer, not my actual job, which held prestige. I didn't wish. Barely unpacked, a sharp knock struck our vacant living room. Cynthia Reynolds, president of the HOA, stood there, blonde, polished smile, cold as ice. "Welcome to Crestwood," she said, handing me a heavy folder. "The $600 monthly charge is due. First banking info by tomorrow." I scowled. "My contract says this home is HOA exempt." Her smile tightened. "Your agent was incorrect. Everyone pays her tone," held a threat. I'd heard from bullies who flourished on intimidation. "I'll check my papers," I said levelly. Her eyes flashed. "Mr. Daniels' non-compliance makes life difficult here, paperwork?" By Friday, she left her card behind my hand. Next day, I met neighbor Frank Miller, a 62-year-old former Marine, over coffee. I spoke of Cynthia's ambush, his face clouded. "Be careful, this HOA is not legit." His phone rang. "HOA meeting, check your deed," he cautioned, leaving later. Elena Torres, another neighbor, whispered, "I refused their fees. My car was vandalized. Mail, lost trash, ignored. Cynthia's son Ethan works for Pinnacle Really, buying up homes affordable. It's all connected. A violation notice on my door, grass too high. $150 fine I'd just mowed yesterday in the window. I see Cynthia and a young fellow, Ethan, I suppose, taking pictures at the county office. I checked my property was HOA exempt. Cynthia was extorting residents that evening. I placed cameras around our home." Emily fretted nervously. "Lucas, what's this? Just precautions," I said. Not saying anything about Cynthia's email refusal to join will have repercussions the following morning. My daughter Lily, 16, cried out, "Our car was spray painted. Join Ho or leave Emily from chemo," gasped. "Who do this?" Ethan and another man were caught on cameras at 3:17 a.m. I saved the video and called the police. The officer assigned to Cynthia's sister shrugged. "No clear faces." "Tough case." A real estate lawyer verified my exemption but warned these disputes get ugly at home. Emily said, "Moms at Lily School shun me. Someone called us troublemakers, damaging property values." I informed her about everything: Cynthia's threats, the so-called HOA, Elena's threats. "This is bigger than fines." I said, "We document it all." Emily responded, "Facts over fists, right?" At an HOA meeting, Cynthia glared at me. "Some question our authority," she said, insinuating I had a criminal past. "Neighbors shunned me after only Frank and Elena stepped forward. She's afraid of your exemption." Elena said, "You're a danger." A so-called city letter stated, "Our house broke non-existent codes." Someone attempted to access Emily's medical records under false pretenses. Cameras captured Ethan and two men destroying Emily's garden. Leaving a note: "Accidents befell obstinate individuals." A private investigator uncovered Cynthia's past fraud investigation, Ethan's juvenile record, and Pinnacle's scheme to make Crestwood a commercial center. Cynthia's flyers spread lies regarding my criminal affiliations, worried Emily and Lily, who have school taunts. Emily pleaded, "Can't we pay?" "If we do, they'll continue to bully others," I told. Aware of 3 families having been forced out, I installed hidden cameras and recorders. Frank assisted, stating, "I remain by my wife's grave, can't abandon her." Elena reported Cynthia's deceptions. I was the subject of FBI investigation, fired for stealing Emily's cancerous scam. A phony city inspector from the vandalism video demanded access. I refused taping his retreat. Trash ceased being collected, mail arrived, drenched, Emily's car window was broken. I targeted Harold Jenkins, the uneasy HOA treasurer at a coffee shop. I redirected our conversation to HOA finances. It's unruly, he conceded. Cynthia has her way. He departed, but I gave him my card at school. Children yelled, "Criminal's kid" at Lily. A forged letter threatened foreclosure, Emily's panic attack, hospitalization that evening. I promised to put an end to this at the next HOA meeting. I insisted on financial records. Cynthia denied. But Harold shifted uncomfortably. Later, he slipped me a flash drive. Cynthia schemes fees into personal accounts. Ethan's firm gets bloated contracts. They fund Pinnacles. Buys, he quit. Scared after Cynthia threatened his daughter's job. Lily collapsed at school. Drugged with a prescription stimulant. Cafeteria footage showed HOA member Karen Holt tampering with her water. I called Alex Carter, an old justice system ally. "This is fraud, arson, assault," he said, reviewing my evidence. "We need federal weight." I planted a recorder in a peace offering planted at Cynthia's the night Ethan and his cohorts schemed. Burn his home, insurance will cover and he'll depart. I relocated Emily and Lily to a hotel, installed fire alarms, and staged a business trip at 2:15 a.m. Cameras recorded Ethan and two men burning my garage with gasoline. My sprinklers activated. I called 911. Firefighters brought the fire under control. Cynthia showed up, faking pity. Such an accident. If you become a member of the HOA, our inspections could have detected this electrical problem. Electrical, I said. The chief hasn't ruled yet. She smiled. Old houses, poor wiring. Ethan's firm can buy you out cheap. I played defeated, staying at the hotel, slumping in public. While meeting FBI agents, I revealed my true role. Federal Judge Lucas Daniels, corruption case expert. My evidence, fraud records, arson footage, resident testimony, led to a multi-state investigation. Pinnacle operated across borders, giving feds jurisdiction at an HOA meeting. Cynthia gloated. I'd sell and leave. I let her believe she'd won while agents excavated. Ethan panicked, deleting emails threatening Harold. I called Cynthia, sounding devastated. "I'm thinking of selling." She pounced, arranging a meeting at Pinnacle's law firm, Crestview Legal. There she and Ethan proposed 60% of my house's worth. "Accidents happen," she uttered, suggesting the fire, and Lily's drugging. "My secret recorder taped it all," I signaled, and FBI agents burst in, arresting them on racketeering, fraud, and arson. "Who are you?" Cynthia shouted. An agent responded, "You extorted Judge Lucas Daniels." Cynthia, Ethan, the police chief, and 4 others are charged at a community meeting. I disclosed my identity. I'm a federal judge moved here for Emily's treatment and exposed a real estate scam. The trial seized the nation. I testified about our ordeal. Evidence buried. Cynthia's Victim Act. She received 22 years. Ethan 10 with a plea. Pinnacle's execs faced 5 to 14 years. Assets seized, compensated victims. A Senate HOA reform committee asked my input. Emily's cancer went into remission. Lily healed with therapy. Crestwood elected Frank and Elena to an open HOA, reducing fees. A year later, our rebuilt home had a barbecue. Frank toasted to Judge Daniels, who stood against bullies. A new couple approached, asking why Crestwood was so united. "Justice," I said, begins when someone says no to greed. Cynthia thought she'd shatter a coder, not a judge, but the actual lesson: you don't require a gavel to call for justice. Just courage.